Hey everybody, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So this is game one of a local tournament that I attended. There were 18 players, 3 games. This first game, obviously I'm playing Ogres, and the scenario, I don't remember all the details of it, but basically if your general flees for any reason, he no longer has his inspiring presence, and if he breaks from combat, then your BSB uh, no longer provides a reroll. And other than that, I just really don't remember all the details of it. So, yeah, so this is game one. This is on my far right. He's got 3 lead belchers, and the Gorger's not there, but he has a Gorger that will turn up later. He's got some Mornfang cavalry, Iron Guts behind it, and he's got the Lord level spellcaster. And I'm just blanking out on what that's called right now. But anyway, behind them, that's his general. To the left, he's got some regular Ogre Bulls. And the model in the front row left, you can only see half of him, but that's his Bruiser BSB. And I don't remember everything that he had, but I do know he had the Crown of Command, because I was thinking right from the beginning that I need to get that guy dead, or else that big unit of bulls is going to be tough to move. In the far right of this is a picture of another Ogre Bull unit, and this one has a Butcher. He's got a Scrap Launcher and an Iron Blaster. So what I thought I would do is try to get some hold-up units here on the left and get my knights to the right and just do the best I can to try to sweep around them, sweep the right flank. So I've got a trebuchet and some archers, Grill Relique, a bunch of men-at-arms. Then I've got the unit on the right. Let's see if this gets a better picture of it. So I've got 3 characters in the front row. There's a Heroic Killing Blow Lord with Heartwood Lance on the front left, BSB with a 2-up rerollable in the front middle, and then I've got a Paladin with a 1-up rerollable and the Sword of Might on the right. Then I've got a level 4 with the Lore of Life, and then just 5 Knights of the Realm rounding out that unit. So the Knights of the Realm are acting as a character delivery system. In combat, those characters protect the rest of the unit because you pretty much have to attack them. Anyway, got some Pegasus Knights, level 2 with the Lore of Life, and this is something new I'm trying, is getting both with the Lore of Life. That way I can get the spells I want with my level 4, which I think worked out nicely. So I've got 8 Grail Knights, and on the far right I've got 9 Knights Errant. Let's see, the Grail Knights have the Flaming Banner, and the Knights Errant have the Errantry Banner. The Knights of the Realm with the General have the +1 Leadership Banner. Anyway, then I've got Fast Cav and some more Bowmen that would not stand on that hill. Now this hill is actually a scree slope, and that swamp in the upper left is a mist-wreathed swamp. So there's the Vanguard movements, and my thinking here is my Peg Knights were just misdeployed. I need to get them over where his war machines were, but basically I put them down towards the first of my deployment because they're mobile, and then realized later that probably would have been better just to wait till his Iron Blaster was down and put my Peg Knights in front of it. So anyway, they're scrambling over to try to get to the Iron Blaster. Move my Fast Cav up because I want to use them to help me get the charge I need on the Mornfang cavalry. So we go Ogre's turn 1. His Mornfang declared charge against my Fast Cav. I don't think they needed much to get there, and I was willing to let that happen because then it would have almost guaranteed a double charge with my Knights Errant and my Grail Knights. But he rolled his charge distance and rolled a 1, 1, and a 2. So really, just kind of bottled up the Mornfang and his general's unit behind him because they just flat out didn't move. Otherwise, he moves up, as you can see. Again, he's got 2 regular bull units at the front, and behind his lines is his general with his Iron Guts. And on the left, these guys are walking up. So his lead belchers shoot at my Fast Cav, and I kind of knew that would happen, and I just got lucky. He only killed 1. And I only needed 1 of my guys to survive, and so what I was hoping was he wouldn't kill more than 4, and I was lucky there. His Iron Blaster shoots, kills 2 of my Knights of the Realm, which isn't a huge deal because I've got the Lore of Life with both of my casters, and so my level 4 has regrowth, so if I need to and if I can get the dice for it, I can just regrow them later. So we go Bretonnia in turn 1. So I move my Fast Cav up to block the Mornfang. My assumption is they're going to charge my Fast Cav. I'm going to stand there, get slaughtered. He'll reform, and then I'll get an easy double charge with 8 Grail Knights and 9 Knights of the Realm, Knights Errant at strength 6 for both of them. So pretty happy with that. My only fear is his Lead Belchers may charge the flank of my Knights Errant, but I'm hoping either he won't do that and opt instead just to shoot at me, or if he does that, he'll fail the charge, or he'll lose the combat and break, and I'll still have my charges available. So I went ahead and moved up because that's, I think, the way I need to take out the Mournfang, and I'm just hoping that something goes my way with the Lead Belchers. Otherwise, I move up with my men-at-arms. I'm trying to angle them so that both those units of bulls, if I got charged by both, they would be in my front, because I don't need a unit in the flank of that men-at-arms, because then if he'd kill so many, I wouldn't be steadfast. So my thinking is angle up enough so they're both in the front. If they charge me, I'll stand, and then I'm hoping to be able to countercharge in the flank with my character unit. And let's see, I was going to go up with my Grail Relique to hold off that other unit, and for whatever reason decided not to. I think I was worried that he would too easily get behind my lines with that second unit of bulls. So then I fly my Peg Knights over, and I'm so fixated on that Iron Blaster that I didn't even recognize that I was set up for a flank charge by the Scrap Launcher. I was thinking of that as a stone thrower and forgetting that it is in fact a Rhinox as well. So one of the many mistakes I made this game was parking those Peg Knights right there. So during the shooting phase, and by the way, magic, nothing went off. In the whole game, I think I got Throne of Vines off twice, and other than that, I couldn't get a spell off the whole game long. But anyway, I drop a stone right on the head of his BSB, and that was intentional. I mean, I just wanted that stubborn character gone. And I hit it, and then he failed his Lookout Sir roll. I was so excited. So I got a direct hit on the BSB, and strength 5 hits on each of the 3 bulls that are touching him. And so the black die is my roll to wound for the BSB, and the blue dice, or the purple dice actually, are the rolls to wound on the other bulls. And I don't do a single wound. I was so upset. I thought that was going to really swing the game my way, getting that BSB off the table, and maybe if I got lucky, doing a couple wounds on another bull and making them a little more manageable. But that was an opportunity missed. So we go Ogre's turn 2. So his Lead Belchers do decide to charge my Knights Errant, which I think was the right move. The Mournfang charge my Fast Cav, of course. His Scrap Launcher charges my Peg Knights, and I flee. And his monster, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out right now, comes on the table behind my lines, as you can see. And this I wasn't too worried about, because my thinking is it's a Gorger. I just had to look that up in the book. The Gorger comes behind my lines. My Peg Knights, because they're fast cav, if I rally, I can fly in front of that Gorger and get the charge by him. And I think I have, a decent chance of holding him up with my Peg Knights. His 1 unit of bulls does charge my men-at-arms, and I'm thinking, you know what, that's what I wanted. That's that's why they're going to be steadfast 10 rerollable, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. And when my men-at-arms eventually get worn down, I can take my Grail Relique up there, and they're stubborn, and they can perform the same function in the future. So he shoots his cannon, and that thing just hit perfectly. It had to shoot at its full distance, and then it bounced 10 inches. It went right through my Grail Knights, right through my Knights Errant, and actually hit his Ogre Bulls in combat. Killed all 3 of my Knights, of my Grail Knights, killed 2 of the 3 of the Knights Errant that it hit. Then I rolled to wound for the 1 Ogre, and I rolled a 1. I don't think I'm playing a great game here, but I'm ready to throw my dice at the same time. Anyway, so after combat, he only kills 1 Knight Errant. I put a wound on him. Combat's tied, except I have a musician, so I win by 1, and he holds. So that changes everything. If he had broken, I would not have chased him, and I would have double charged his Mournfang, and that either would have gone really well for me or really badly for me. But with them holding, there's no way I'm going to take a diminished Grail Knight unit into a front of a Mournfang unit. And I might be wrong on the odds on that, but my thinking was that's just not going to end well for me. So what I decided is just reform to face those guys. and at the end of combat, men-at-arms just get absolutely beaten up, but they hold. So again, my thinking was, this is great. I can charge in the flank with my general's unit. My prophetess has the crown of command, so I'll be stubborn in their flank. So it doesn't matter how many knights, men-at-arms they kill. I'll stick, and then I should just be able to beat them up with my heroic killing blow lord and that character in their flank. And I can take the Grail Relique and park it at the corner of that unit, so he can't get a whole lot of wounds on it, and just hold him in place. So we go to Bretonnia in turn 2. So I take my peasants and charge into the flank of the ogres. I've got a charge and a flank, and I'm hoping that'll be enough to outweigh any wounds he might do on those archers. I turn my Grail Knights around, and I just move back. I'm going to bring them near my level 4, let her regrow them, and you just use them wherever they're needed, or just save the points. If I can get them regrown, I can turn around and face the Mournfang, and if I can get a charge, be in pretty good shape there. Now here's where I realized I made a critical mistake. The unit that I was planning on charging their flank wouldn't fit between the bulls and that house. And that was just huge. Just absolutely huge. It would have worked, except I had a Knight of the Realm on my 3rd rank that was on the right-hand side. And if he'd been on the left-hand side, that would have been a different story. But with him on the right, even then, it may not have fit. So I was kicking myself, but I decided just to charge my General and the Green Knight model out. And with the General with Heroic Killing Blow, if I can get lucky with 1 or 2 of those, he can get enough combat res to make up for all the men-at-arms are inevitably going to be killed. Not really worried about the Grail Relique. 1, they're stubborn. 2, they've got a 4-up armor save in combat plus the ward save. And there's only 1 guy touching them, and it's his BSB. So I don't think they're going to contribute any combat res to him. So very unhappy with how I did that. In hindsight, I needed to angle the men-at-arms more so that I could fit, and then that first turn could have taken the Grail Relique up so that his 2nd unit of bulls wouldn't gotten to the flank of my men-at-arms. But live and learn. So my Peg Knights rally, so I park in front of the Gorger, and otherwise it looks like this. So after combat, yeah, he just went to town on my men-at-arms. He killed more than I expected him to. I don't know how much he won combat by. The real disappointment was that my general didn't do a single wound on a champion. I basically issued a challenge and just totally whiffed on everything. So luckily the general held. I forgot what I needed, but with the reroll he got it. The Grail Relique stayed. Men-at-arms, of course, fled, and the Green Knight fled. I call him the Green Knight. Obviously, it's not the special character. So he's sitting out here to my right. Not the end of the world, but I'm not thrilled with it either. If you look at my archers are still at full strength. His ogre didn't do any wounds on them, and we broke him and ran him down. Now his Mournfang are going to get an easy charge into my Knights Errant, but I'm just going to flee. And if he catches me, at least he's way out to the far side, and hopefully I'll just get away from him. So Ogres turn 3. The Gorger charges my Peg Knights. Luckily I passed my terror test. Mournfang charge my Knights Errant. I flee. They redirect into the Grail Knights, and luckily for me, he failed the charge. He needed a good distance, but he failed it. Otherwise, you can see he's having his Iron Guts and his other unit of bulls. He's not really able to get them where he wants them. Just now, he's able, with that other unit of bulls, looks like he's going to be able to countercharge on his next turn. But for the most part, being able to tackle 1 unit of bulls at a time, I was very happy with. The problem is I haven't been able to deal with that unit very well. So at the end of combat, the Gorger comes in, and he does 1 wound on my guys. The other wound you see was a dangerous terrain test that I failed earlier. But with the charge and the wound, he won combat and I broke, and then he overran into the trebuchet. My archers were on the backside of that hill. They failed their panic and they fled a little bit, just a couple inches. We go here, and this time I was able to kill the champion, and his BSB is over. So I don't know. This picture may have been taken a little bit later, because on the next turn, the BSB and I were in a challenge. So anyway, with the Grail Relique, I actually reformed and brought the guys that were behind my Relique to the left, because it gave me ranks, and I did it in a way that it wasn't going to give him combat res, and he can't reform to slide over because I'm in his flank. So, as long as he doesn't kill too many of the Grail Relique, I'll actually have some ranks now, and I have the flank and all that. So we go to Bretonnia turn 3. I charge into the flank. Now, because of where they're positioned, that unit will fit. So it gets my BSB in there. It gets a stubborn unit in there. We get a charge, the BSB. So combat res is starting to go our way. Now I'm getting confident that we can beat this unit because he has very few models that are doing any attacks. He has his BSB in a challenge with my general, and I like my odds there. And he's got one guy who pretty much has to attack my BSB, who has a 2-up rerollable, and only 2 guys that can attack the Grail Relique. So the Peg Knights and the Men-at-Arms both rally. I just left the Men-at-Arms facing that way. The Peasants rally. And over here, my Knights of the Realm fail to rally, and they run right off the board. My Archers in the front, at the top, they're just sitting there. I forgot to move them. And so later on, my opponent let me go back and just turn them around. My Green Knight rallied, and this is the mistake that crippled me. When I forgot, basically, I did all my rallies, and then I forgot to do the movement phase. I didn't move anybody. So I forgot to move my Grail Knights around to hide behind the house and get regrowth cast on them. Instead, I left them right where they were, and the Mournfang Cavalry now have a really easy chance to charge them. So again, later on, my opponent let me go back, and I just turned them to face the Mournfang. I didn't have the heart to ask him if I could go ahead and do the move that I was planning on. I thought it was very generous of him to let me go ahead and turn him, so at least it wouldn't get a rear charge into those guys. But just critical. I mean, you can't forget to move guys. I don't usually do that. So that hurt. So we go in their flank, and this time, that BSB looks like he's still alive. So my general's just kind of whiffing in his combat here, which is really hurting me. So when we go to his turn, his Scrap Launcher and his Iron Blaster both charge the flank of that Grail Relique, and with all those impact hits, that's going to be a lot of combat res. My hope is they do enough to kill the thing, so then they're out of combat. The problem is there's still going to be a lot of wounds, so my general may break from combat. My BSB's unit's going to be steadfast, so I'm not really worried about them. His Gorger killed my Trebuchet, and it charged the Bowman, and my hope there is they'll be steadfast at least. His Mournfang get the charge into my Grail Knights. The Green Knight is not in combat. We actually bumped him out an inch later, but that was just stupid. I don't deserve a win making a dumb mistake like that. He couldn't fit his extra unit of bulls into the flank of my general or the Knight of the Realm unit because of the building. He's having the same problem I was having, so he charged his Butcher out. Just it gives him a charge and a flank. So when all's said and done, the Gorger killed 4 bowmen, and they were steadfast and they held. The dual charge on the Grail Relique killed all my Battle Pilgrims, and the Grail Relique is down to 1 wound. So, and they're stubborn. So everything in combat, in that whole big combat on my side, is stubborn. So that's why they stuck around. But you notice my general's not there. He got Heroic Killing Blow off on the BSB, so I did kill his stubborn BSB, but the problem is I still had so much combat res against me the general fled. So for the rest of the game, I don't have Inspiring Presence, and I don't get a BSB reroll. And there's my general way over here. So the Mournfang, I thought I got really lucky that there was 1 Grail Knight left. And I think I might, if I get lucky, I might even have a chance here, maybe, on my next turn, because I can charge my other character in. He's survivable. The Mournfang's only going to get 1 wound if they kill that Grail Knight. I don't think they're going to be able to kill that Green Knight. And with the charge, I might get lucky and break him or something like that. And over here, yeah, everybody here is just sticking around. So, Bretonnian turn 4. Grail Knights charge the flank of his Iron Blaster. Bowmen are still locked in combat with the Gorger. If you look at his 2 topmost units, there's nothing he can really do to help with that 1 combat, so they're going to secure table quarters. And that was the other part of the scenario you get bonus points for table quarters. I charged the Green Knight in. What I did is I just wheeled him as much as possible to put him in contact with two enemy models, which is the most I could. But there were two that were already in combat anyway, because I didn't want to give him more attacks. My general rallied, which I thought was nice. And then at the end of combat, we finally broke him. And I think I don't remember why, it's just we just had combat res on him. And broke and ran down the big unit of ogres. So there were some points there. We got the BSB points. His one butcher that came in the flank got away because I just didn't have enough troops to chase him. My peg knights couldn't even run down the iron blaster. It's on top of that hill. So, big deal. I mean, I broke him in combat, but I wasn't able to get him off the board. And then if you look at the archers, amazingly enough, they're still in combat with that gorger. So over here just killed me. He wasn't able to kill the Grail Knight standard bearer, and I feel like I got pretty lucky there. He only had one guy who could attack him, but between armor saves and ward saves, I was able to stand. I was in a challenge his champion against my Green Knight, and he only did one wound on him. It was strength 4. I've got a 1-up rerollable, so I had 2 chances to roll 2 up, and I failed both of them. So he did 1 wound on my Green Knight, so therefore he won combat by 1, and they both broke and got ran down. So at the time, I was really frustrated. I felt there was a lot of rolls that went against me. Having reviewed it, there were some unfortunate rolls, but it was really just a lot of mistakes all throughout the game. So a very, very bad start to the tournament. Matter of fact, I think that's the worst first game I've ever had in a tournament. I think there's a possible, I want to say there's a possible 10 points and I got 3 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, obviously a very bad start. But that was it. Lessons learned, and we move on to game 2. Hope you enjoyed it.